Welcome back, my friend, to week 6 of the Practical Frequency Guide, and this is a part 3 of Cells Talk. Now, you will have had 5 weeks already where you have been developing and diving deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, I'm hoping, into the practice of working with you, having had many reasons as to why you might do this. Now, I'm going to use this week's particular week in Cells Talk to actually redirect you, if you haven't already, to continue to develop your practice, give some broader overviews, and then some very more specific things around why it all comes back to you. And so together, during this next little while, we're going to be delving into you. All right, this is where we're really going, is into you, into the inner worlds of you, into the inner space of you, which is where all meaning is made. Where all meaning is made. And the activities that we experience in this physical realm all come from the attention and orientation that you pay attention to, energy to, and focus to in your life. And you'll begin to see this even easier as we move forward in this week's lessons. So I hope you've got a nice glass of water there with you, as have I, and maybe a pen and paper, and your willingness, your open heart, your open head, and an open mind, and open cells, and open environment to participate and to delve deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into who you really are. So let me just change screens here and let's get going. As mentioned before, we're the Practical Frequency Guide, the 12 Essential Steps, Step 6, Week 6. Cells Talk, Part 3, Week 6. Now, you've been through many experiences in life, across all of life. I mean, all of the life that you've lived. Everything. So many experiences. Why is it, I wonder? This is what we'll be unraveling, not just in this particular video, but in the next couple of weeks to come. Why some particular memories? Out of everything that you have experienced, why do you remember some instead of others? How is it that you're orientating or choosing the memories that you choose to remember? Why do you notice the things you notice? Yeah, something to think about and to ponder on as we also go through this next series together. Partially, it's because of your environment. Partially, it's because of your environment. Now, we've already covered there are multiple environments. There's the environment external, which of course we can physically see and interact with. Then there's the environment internal, of which you can also see, feel, and interact with. Your inner world environment. The environment that is making an imprint in every area of your life. And you'll see soon how that affects you at a vibrational level. You see, every environment will have a hum or a feel, a vibration, a certain look, a certain sense, a certain way of being, certain habitat. Good for certain things. The environment of the forest floor is very different than the environment of the canopy. The environment underground is very different than the environment of the sea. The environment of the deep ocean floor is very different than the environment of the beach itself. The environment of a thundery sky is very different than a bright blue clear day. The environment that is around you is constantly affecting everything. The environment of a cave is very different than a desert. The environment of winter is different than the environment of summer. The environment of growth is different than the environment of decay. The environment of health is different than the environment of ill health. And you are so magnificent, so incredibly magnificent within the environments, plural, of you, of your whole body being, and then in all the individual parts. And you, my dear friend, influence those environments in the most powerful way. There is nothing more potent than the environment of you. Because you, within you, is where all of the meaning making is done. If I've repeated myself in this, I hope you're hearing me again. Because when you really get this, when you really, truly get this at the deepest core levels, and I'm sure that there's deeper levels of environment to understand, even for myself and for other people who have been working within themselves for a long time. You are the key. You're it. It all starts and stops with you. You're the interpreter. You're the receiver. You're the vessel. You're the meaning maker. You're the communicator. You're the receptor. You're the interpreter of the things you see, hear, feel, touch, taste, smell. You are the presence. You are it. You are the observer of all of the experiences, past, future, present. You are the creator of you. You are the experiencer of you. You are the witness of you. You are the designer of you. You are the character of you. You are the environment of you. You are the identity of you. You are the behavior of you. You are the rejecter of you. You are the acceptor of you. You are the power of you. You are the empowerment of you. You are the disempowerment of you. You are the lover of you. You are the hater of you. You are the acceptor of you. 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 It all starts with you. Nobody else. Whenever we're giving our power away to somebody else, they did this to me. This is what happened to me as a child. He said this, she said that. He did this, she did that. My mother this, my dad that. Anything that comes in the form of a story like that is a giving away of the power of you, because you are still the speaker, the observer, the witnesser, the chooser of the thought, the chooser of the memory, the chooser of the observation. You. It all comes back to you. You see, my friend, This isn't taught in schools. It's inherently in everything in life. And yet, the whole process of living the expression of life that we are looks outside of ourselves. Looks outside of ourselves. Or can you hear the plane? Looks outside of ourselves for power. Looks outside of ourselves for influence. Looks to God, looks to others, looks to people, looks to things, looks to happenings. When we look back into ourselves, into you, when you look back into you, when you truly look back into you, deeply now, looking back into you, there's something that begins to happen that words defy, words minimize. There is something so beautiful that begins to happen when you look into you. There's a stirring up inside. There's recognitions and connections that begin to happen. Awarenesses open up. And the deeper we look inside of ourselves, the more aware we become of the very process of the creation of the life that we are. And this, my dear friend, is where you, before anyone else, will truly make the most difference. So what I'm going to invite you to do in this moment now, just to close your eyes. Just closing your eyes. And just looking into you, gently, inquisitively, curiously. Just looking deep within. No expectations, no judgments. Simple observation and awareness of the you who shows up. To see you. No other thing right now other than the looking within you. Softly breathing, letting the practice that you've put into play naturally begin to occur. That's right, sinking in. Inviting your heart to smile as you smile back at you, looking into you. Opening up new awarenesses of that which is observing you right now. Of the you that is aware of you, observing you. And the you that is you, aware of being seen. Softening into that. Allowing awarenesses to broaden, to expand. And the presence of you to be felt and known. Taking all the time that you need to then gently open your eyes from that space, the space here now. And we're going to move on. You see, because it's you before anyone else, how could you possibly connect or not connect with anyone else if there wasn't a you to connect from? How could you possibly do that or be that? It is you before all else. You before time. You before here. That's right. Just feel into that idea, that concept. The you that is before this now. The you that has always been. And just feeling, sensing into, being aware of the environment within the you that is aware. Noticing the subtleties of the changes. When I say subtleties of the changes, I'm pointing to your experience of you, your experience of the environmental inner change that occurs as you own your own magnificence within, your own inner power, your own inner awareness before all else, before anyone else. The you who even sees that there is another separate from you. The you that needs to have perceptions and filters in order to see that. The you that has habitual environmental patterns and habits of, here I am, there is another being. That's the you that creates some of the life experience that you have. And if you allow yourself, you'll notice that there is a you even before that. Even before that. Oh, my friend, can you see how magnificent you are? It excites me no end. I found this photo on Google in a search because I was looking for worlds within eyes. And now this is actually like a promotion to become a reflection model, where there's a site where you can be an eye model, and then they'll put things into your eyes. But I wanted to leave it like this because it was so metaphorically beautiful in regards to the idea that we are reflections and other people are reflections of us. Now, don't eat this all up too much. This is, don't eat the menu. This is the way it is. This is a concepting way of how easier it is to see ourselves through others. Does that make sense? So we, the seer, looks out to the external world and we see other beings separate from us. We see their behaviours and those things that we love about that, or those things that we really don't love about that, things that irritate us or that we have a reaction to, those things that we adore and we feel magnetically connected to. It's the same idea of the reflection model, this reflection aspect, and you are a reflection model for other people too. And it's been my discovery that the more aware I am of me, the more I am a reflection for other people. And the more people reflect those things that I see because of an orientation and focus. And yet, the eyes are like the key to the soul, right? The eyes have these connections that are so deep, they're beyond the seeing interpretations. The eyes, when really connect, go soul deep. They're so deep, and they're so deep. And the easier you find it to look inside of yourself, the easier you will find it to look to another and to look within them and to see past all of the idiosyncrasies and the nuances of perception and judgment. And it all starts with you, seeing into the eyes of your own soul, seeing within, seeing the wholeness, the completeness, the magnificence that is already there. Seeing you for who you truly are, beyond the illusions and perceptions of what we call life. And you see, I'll just stop this here. And you see what's really beautiful here is you're always there. Wake up in the morning, hello, here I am. Go out, maybe go to the gym, or you go for a walk, or maybe you have a cup of coffee, or maybe you, whatever you do as your morning ritual. There you are. Let's say you need to go out, get your keys if you're driving, and jump in the car. There you are. Say you're going even just out for coffee. You turn up at the coffee venue. There you are. If you need to go to a meeting or an appointment, you show up. There you are. You, in and out of physical environments, consistently interacting with different internal environments. You know this already. Sometimes it feels really good to be you. Sometimes it may not feel so good to be you. These are just environments. These are environments that you, the being of you, can completely and absolutely influence. These are the environments that interact with all that is you. These are the environments that support. These are the environments that can be supported. These are the environments that can be transformed, the alchemy of change. These are the environments, and yet it all starts with you. So perhaps now's a good time to just have a glass of water. All right. So we're just about to go into two completely different parts. One very specific to the physical body. And then after that, more specific to the body being environment. And so be aware we're coming from two different aspects and yet of the whole, right? So each one points to the other in true perfection, of course. And when we look at the body physical environment and specify some of the working aspects of this, you can get more of a felt sense and references, because we're just building some reference structures. And then we'll look at how we can play with those. So if you're ready, we're going to go sinking into your own body's environment. So let's just take a look at your body, your actual physical body here. I'm going to invite you to look inside with your internal observation awareness, feelings, senses, to listen in to the environment within the different aspects of you. Now, this is not going to come to a conclusive charted, it's not going to, you're not going to come out with a graph, all right? We're just taking internal selfies, internal observations, internal awarenesses of how these feel inside of us. And this is without judgment too, because of course, every single environment has a different feel, has a different sense. Some of them you'll be more attuned to and more familiar with, feeling and sensing into than others. So there's no right or wrong way to do this. This is simply an experience that I highly encourage you to have as you are tuned to specific things that can make a difference for you. So just with your eyes open or your eyes closed, whichever works better for you, I'm going to invite you to become aware of your body physical. And then be aware of all of the skin in your body. So all of the skin all around the edges of your body. So you're just going to get a general impression of where your skin is. And as you feel and sense into your skin, your own skin, just notice whatever it is that you notice. And it may be nothing, and it may be something. Just feeling into the environment of your skin. Just getting a general feel for it. And then just take an internal memory shot of that. And thank your awareness for its observation. And now tuning into, so looking into, feeling into, and listening into the blood, the system and environment of blood throughout your body. Now everybody's different when they tune into the blood. Maybe just a sense that you get. Maybe an up-close image or an up-close feeling. Simply an awareness of the environment of the blood in your body. And just take an internal awareness, selfie shot of that. Then nice deep breath. So that's quite physical, those two parts here. Now let's go to the bones, a denser part of you. So yes, it can happen very fast. So just sensing into the bones in your body, orientating, focusing into, giving attention to the physical bones of your body. That's right. Listening into the bones, feeling into your bones, looking into your bones, sensing into your bones, without judgment, simply being aware. And then take an internal snapshot of the bones of your own body. Thank the bones. And another nice deep breath in. And then a gentle observation and orientation into a far more, not so dense like the bones, into your immune system. So it's the concept of an idea of just like a beehive, a body of movement, awareness, a body of awareness. And it's an environmental sense. So without judgment of whether you can do it or not, just orientate your attention and awareness into the immune system. Just being with your immune system, listening into it, feeling into it, looking into it, sensing into it. And then gently thanking the immune system and coming back out. So just being there about 9 to 10 seconds. That's right. How are we doing so far? Nice bit of a stretch. observations and awarenesses, increasing the awareness of self. Some people are very good at this sort of thing just naturally. Other people, it's the first time that they've played with it. Other people have sort of some muscles built and some muscles not. This isn't a have to sense. This is an exploration of the body physical environment of you. Yeah, of you. You've been walking around in this wonderful body all this time. And so often we only ever pay attention to it when it's sore or it's in pain or it's suffering in some kind. So it's always lovely to just check in with self, the physical body that moves you around effectively on our earth. So now just another breath in. And now orientating into the organs of your body. And we're going to just do a very fast organ journey. But just touching into the physical organ of the heart. That's right. And then moving gently into the lungs. That's right, moving into the liver. Well done. Completely different feeling environments, these. From the liver into the pancreas. Different environment again. Beautiful, into the spleen. Just sensing in, that's all you're doing. Moving back into the kidneys. And underneath your ribs into the kidneys. Very different environment in the kidneys. There you go. Moving into the stomach. And then into the intestines, down into the gut area. Again, very different environment than many of the organs. And then just gently going into the bladder. That's right. And then down into the bowel. Then down into your sexual organs. And then coming back up into the heart. Right into the physical organ of the heart, thanking all of the organs of your body. Skin's an organ too, but just thanking all the organs of your body. And any that we didn't go and visit. Thanking them for showing up for you. And I'm sure they'll be sending back thank you for showing up to them too. All right, so we could explore the body physical to great depths. I mean, incredible depths. Each one of those environments really deserves its own week of observation because there's so much to connect with inside of that, so much teaching, learning, and environmental awarenesses that can be taught and interacted with through communication with the cells in, because remember, each one of these organs is effectively a community of your cells. The skin is a community of cells. The immune system is a community of cells across the body, and it's a certain awareness within the body. So you can see how these inner worlds just in the physical realm, the physical makeup of your magnificence are all there, continuously working together towards health in their best possible way. And within the frequency play of this, we're now going to orientate a little bit broader out into what is called the, I'll tell you in a minute, but the conscious awareness of self. Yeah, the conscious awareness of self, not just the physical body being. So remember, just before I was indicating we're going into the physical, and then we're going to go more into the body being environment. So that which is greater than the physical body, or not greater as in better than, the greater aspects that also include the physical body, but that have a far broader touch and will be outside of your physical body as well, inside and outside. This is where the environment of you has such an adaptation, such a fluidity, such an amazing interaction. We begin to see, because we can see into all of these, because we can see into all of these, then that's not who we are either. Yeah, because we can actually come in and have a look and an experience, and we can walk out again. It's an aspect of us, but it's not all that is us. Kind of exciting when we're looking at some pretty basic stuff in the area of cell play, frequency play, energy play, and yet the journey and the process along the way of this magnificence that we are. Let me just move through here. Okay, so just, if you will, just taking a stretch, because we're just going to move our awarenesses now in a conscious frame to a broader level, as I've just indicated to you. So, nice deep breath in, perhaps mark it with a glass of water. And we're going to move towards something called the Map of Consciousness. Now, it was developed by David R. Hawkins, and I'm not teaching his stuff, I'm just using the model as an observation and an awareness. You see, it's easy to take little internal snapshots of something, just like selfies, pictures, images, impressions, at an individual level when we think we're looking at a thing. And when we take it to a broader level, we're looking at more concept. It's not something we can necessarily put our hands on. It's not so tangible, but there's still a sense there, just as you could sense the different organs of your body, the different environmental aspects that happen inside of that. And so the map of consciousness, now please again, do not take this as an absolute. This is just giving some ideas. Just some ideas, sort of a little bit of a graph to play around with in the map of consciousness. And this is in regards to the feelings and senses of emotion and movement, or energy and movement, and a certain sense of the environment that occurs with a label. Remember, in Dr. Emoto's work, the environment of the cell was captured by an image. And so the environment of hate and the environment of love looked visibly different when the droplet of water was frozen, or the water particle was frozen, and it displayed differently, and there was a snapshot of an image taken to show that difference. So effectively what we're doing here is we're unfreezing a little bit, and it's a bit more of a short movie or a short video or a long photo, to have a look at the different effects that different energy movements and the way we're making meaning of them make within our life. So I'll give you a visual, just a moment. All right, there we go. So here we have the map of consciousness, as I said, developed by David R. Hawkins. All right. So I'm not going to go into the deep sciences of this. I'm just simply going to borrow the information as a useful chart to have some kind of comprehension. Now, they've put it into, anytime anything is ever put into levels or layers, it's just for our reference. Right? It's just for our reference. Does it look like this? No, of course it doesn't look like this. But this is the idea of a vibrational tone scale. A certain vibration, a certain environmental sense, a certain hum, a certain buzz, a certain emission that comes from the environment that is created around something like shame, let's say on the base end here, where they say the frequency is 20, compared to enlightenment, which is at the top of the frequency, which is about, or could be between 700 and 1,000. So what I love about this map and its usefulness, have a really good look at it. And I'll read it from the bottom up, just because it's easy. So right down here on the bottom, we have shame, with an energetic frequency of 20, associated with the emotional state or the emotional movement of humiliation, and their view on life, or the view on life required in order for humiliation and therefore shame to even exist as an environment, is to be miserable. Yeah, so it all has a framework. It's kind of like that environment we showed you at the beginning there of the picture of a beautiful creek in the bush. It's just the environment of shame. And so it takes many parts to make up an environment. So shame as a label is just a label, and we'll go into this more in the coming weeks. The association of the energy moves like humiliation, so it has a feeling, a sense of humiliation as a label. And then the being state, the resulting state of the view of life becomes quite miserable. Easy peasy Japanesey, right? So we're moving forward now. As we move up, guilt is higher on the vibrational scale. So guilt, let's say it's has a frequency of 30, comes through the emotional scale or state of blaming outside of ourselves, yeah? Blaming outside of ourselves. And the view of life is evil. So there is, there's obviously a good and evil component within this. Let's move up to apathy. Apathy has a resonance, according to this scale, of 50 on the frequency scale, has a despair to it at an energy movement level and feels hopeless. So again, the environment of apathy has to have hopelessness, despair, and a certain resonance to be able to be a true environment of apathy. Go with me here. Coming up the scale a wee bit, or the map of consciousness a wee bit, we come into grief. Grief has a resonance or a frequency of about 75. Regret is a really big one where I find when I'm working with anyone, especially if there's something that's really holding quite deeply. Regret has is something that will keep, it's like a deep structure, and has a very tragic view of life. We'll come to more of that soon. Moving up a wee bit, we have fear. Now, isn't it interesting that people refer to fear a lot? And yet here, fear is 100 on the frequency scale, has an anxious feeling, anxiousness in the way the energy moves, and therefore the environment is frightening. It feels scary. And so this is where we've got the fear factor coming, right? Moving up to desire. Now, desire is still separate from the ideal, right? Desire, I want something, need for something, I have to have something. 125, oh, isn't that interesting on the frequency scale? A craving. And of course, the view of life can be that if it never comes, it's disappointing. So that sense of needing something, wanting, having to, feeling separate from, has an environment. Please note this in your mind, because you'll be able to use this a lot moving forward in life. When you're wanting something, when you feel like it's not already there, the resonance has an idea of an emission of about 125, which is quite low vibrational frequency of what feels good in the body. Moving up, we come into anger. Now, anger I always see as quite an active, healthy emotion, because it has a movement. It's not feeling done to so much. It has a sense of done to, but not entirely. There's a capacity to be able to move forward, to do something around it. Anger has a frequency of 150, associated with the emotional state in this chart here of hate or dislike for something, not okay with something going on. And then antagonistic is the view of life. You have to have all of that to make up the environment of anger. Moving up the scale, pride, 175 on the frequency energy scale. So scorn, so you can't have, unless you're scorned and you have demands on you, you can't have a sense of pride or not pride. Remember, there's two edges to all of this. You need all of these to make up the full environment of a pride state. Courage, 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 courage. Oh my gosh, this is only the frequency of 200. Isn't that interesting? The courage to do something, to take action, and yet it means more inside. To feel that sense feels a lot better than most other things. So this courage, this courageous nature that comes from deep down in the belly, actually, for the capacity to take action on something, affirms as an emotional movement. It affirms, it has an affirming way of being. And it means that something's feasible, it's possible, that it can happen. So it needs all of these. Courage needs to keep that environment or that frequency in place, needs all of those components: affirmation, feasibility, and the continuous action or courage to take action. Moving up now into neutrality, which is just that sense of trust. Now, it's fascinating to me, or it was fascinating to me when I came to it, when I first really associated how deeply I hadn't been trusting myself. When I really came into that sense of trust and went, oh my gosh, yes, this is how I know this. I know this trust in my body, but I haven't been focusing on that. And when I focused in on the trust quite deeply, the sense of trust there, I began to really notice that there was a deeper inner satisfaction on me. My environment started to change. So this is one of the things I really work with people and really encourage you to play inside of, is this building of an understanding of what it feels like to be in a trusting state, in a neutrality of trust, and all is okay. Then we've got willingness, according to this 310 on the frequency scale, with an optimistic movement. The energy moves in optimism, and there's some hope there. Moving up to acceptance. So when we accept something, it feels pretty good in the body. Here's why. It goes up to 350 on the frequency scale. And it allows forgiveness. It needs forgiveness for acceptance to be in place. It needs forgiveness to be there. And it creates a harmony within the environment. Isn't that beautiful? Moving up into reason, which is 400 on the frequency scale. This reason has understanding and meaningful, so there's purpose here. Reason, purpose might be the same sort of idea. And when you've got a reason or a purpose for being, this raises the vibrational frequency up to about 400, which of course has this beautiful resonance of understanding, connection, meaningful nature, movement forward. And this environment, when established and developed deeper, provides a real sense of expansion. We've got love, which is 500, which is halfway up the possibility, just because they've put it into a graph. It's only halfway. Love is only halfway up the sense of what is available to us. So isn't this magic as we look into love, reverence, benign, just beingness, full openness, being presence, and it feels so good at this vibrational frequency level. Now the sensations get softer. They have a far more subtle resonance. They move in a different way than the lower, slower vibrations. When you sense into these environments, they feel quite different. We step into them when we can resonate them within them and have them emitting through us quite naturally. There's a complete different shift in the body being sense of all that is. Moving into joy at 540 frequency, with a serenity and a completeness, that full wholeness within the body being. It's that sense of, yeah. It's a real lift, subtler again, subtler again, and it just keeps refining and defining in the subtleties within here. And we come into peace and bliss and perfection at 600. There's that sense of less and less words as we move up in the frequencies, far less words. Far less needs to be said as we attune into these frequencies as an experience rather than as a concept. The perfection, the bliss of what is, the presence of peace, dynamic stillness. And then into enlightenment, which points to somebody's self-awareness expanding into their own moment of it just is. However that is for each individual experiencer. And so here's why we do our practical frequency play on a regular basis. Because of this. To attend to the environments of. And if you're anything like me, I was just like, I just want to be at the top end all of the time. And I discovered that as I attuned to that and attuned to that and attuned to that, when I hadn't built the muscles of being able to move up, I would have a fall, and then I'd fall back into the sense of identity and the sense of neediness or upset or worry or concern or something, and it would feel just so painful, even more painful, because I'd have this wonderful experience. So then I began to realize for myself, and you'll come to your own learnings of how it is for you, that I really wanted to build the muscles of being able to step into and out of all of this without fear, into and out of all of it as the experiencer, into and out of all of us at will, into and out of all of these environments by purpose, easily. And so this is where the practice comes into play. And this is why we go into so many small parts for the environmental global emission whole of the being of you. And being halfway through our 12-week essentials, I hope now that you see even more and deeper reasons why you set a purpose for a daily practice. And the exercises that have been given to you over the week have all been, over the weeks, have all been moving to this, and will continue to develop exactly this. From all sorts of different gateways, from all different places, from all different perspectives. Sometimes pulling things apart to look at the tiny, sometimes coming from a much broader scale. All around you, the awareness of you, even before you interact with another being. So the magnificence of you begins to show up in the presence of who you really are. And so this week's play is to revisit the experience that we just went through. Not necessarily just the head knowledge conversation, but the actual felt sense experience of the movement through. Play with it yourself. And instead of being fearful of when you feel, let's say, shame in the body, if it shows up, pay attention to it and allow it to change, become the alchemy without fear. Because of course it's possible. Because it's possible to have your bones, your blood, your skin, your organs, your observation all present at the same time. doing all of their environments at the same time. It's also possible to come from a true love space into the area or experience of that which was shameful, and to be with it, to be the alchemy of change, to allow the energy to free up for more aspects of you to come back to who you really are, calling you back in. So as you go through the worksheet this week, may you have fun. And there'll be some meditations attached this time, just for this sensing and presence into yourself. We will see you again very soon for week 7. Let's do that. Let's play together more. Let's have multiple experiences. And thank you so much for the magnificence that you already are.